We kick things off with a flashback to 2,000 years ago when a demon king wiped out the human nation, torched the spirit forest, and took down the supreme lords. Fast forward to today, and we see this owl delivering letters for the entrance exam to Delskade, where they train the successors of the old demon king to step up and become the next demon king. Everyone's buzzing because this year is supposedly the year the demon king rises again. It's exam day, and we meet Misha, a young lady who's heading to school. Her guardian shouts out her name, wishing her luck as she clutches a letter that slips through her fingers when a couple of stuck-up royal kids bump into her, declaring they should skip the exam because of their royal status. Enter our main dude, Anos. He scoops up that letter, reads Misha's name, and hands it back. Anos's parents yell the same supportive stuff as Misha's guardian, and soon they're all strutting to school together, feeling the same pressure. So, there's this royal kid named Zepes from the Indu family, and he decides to poke fun at Misha and Anos, but those two just brush past him. Zepes, fuming, threatens to set them ablaze with his darkness flame, but Anos extinguishes it like it's nothing right after Zepes lights it up. Anos then paralyzes Zepes for a moment, and he screams like a total wuss. Anos keeps on walking, leaving Misha and the other students in awe. The first physical battle kicks off between Zepes and Anos. Zepes is all geared up with armor that deflects magic and his royal sword, but Anos is here to remind him that victory isn't about talking big or using sneaky tricks. Anos snuffs out the fire from Zepes' sword, just like he did at the gate. He even tells Zepes not to move from his spot. But guess what? Zepes still can't take him down from where he stands. Anos uses his heartbeat to wreak havoc on Zepes from the inside out, blood shooting out from every gap in his armor. With every beat, Zepes is struggling until he finally drops to his knees. They make this deal called Zect, where Anos agrees to make Zepes give up without using magic or any crazy mind tricks. Zepes insists he won't give up, even if it kills him. And just like that, Anos snaps his fingers, killing him instantly but bringing him back to life in a flash. Zepes is shook, and Anos asks if he's ready to give up yet. But nope, Zepes stands his ground. Anos repeats the process, and after a few times of this, Zepes is totally freaked out and finally throws in the towel. The other students are dumbfounded by Anos's domination, but Zepes' brother isn't happy about it at all. Next up, we dive into the magic assessment test. Misha nails it with over 100,000 points while Anos flops hard with 0 and accidentally wrecks the measurement crystal. Misha sees something awesome in Anos's power and tells him she's never seen anything like it before. Anos is shocked that she can even see it, but she reveals it's due to her special demonic eyes. They continue with the test separately, and Anos casually drops his own name as the Demon King, Anos Valdigode. He finds the aptitude test questions super easy, especially the one about whether he'd save someone just powerful or someone with mad skills. At the end of the test, Anos spots Misha waiting for him outside the gate. He invites her to his place for a celebratory feast, thinking his mom has whipped up something amazing. They teleport to his house, and Misha is blown away by the lost magic Anos can use. Inside, Anos' mom is thrilled to hear her son pass the test, even though he's just a month old. She asks about Misha, and when Anos introduces her, his mom jumps to the conclusion he's brought home a potential wife, spinning around with joy as Anos' dad pops out from the workshop to join in the celebration. Anos quickly apologizes to Misha for his folks' excitement, and they all sit down for some delicious mushroom gratin. Anos' mom asks Misha what she likes about Anos, and she says it's his kindness for picking up her letter. Anos is caught off guard by this, but tells his mom he made the first move, and that makes her proud. She serves them more mushroom gratin. Post-dinner, Anos apologizes again for his parents being a bit extra, but Misha reassures him it's all good since she's used to it. She clarifies that the dude who was with her in the morning isn't her dad, just her guardian, also mentioning her sister is the loud one, and she isn't sure if they get along. Misha asks if Anos is worried about anything, and when he admits he is, she calls him kind, which surprises him a bit. Anos admits no one's ever called him that before. People usually think he's evil and that he's not doing the world any favors by being around. Misha gives him a comforting pat on the head, and Anos decides he'll tell his folks Misha is his friend. Just as they're bonding, a battlefield like the one from the test suddenly appears around them, trapping Anos and Misha inside. And surprise, the mastermind behind this is Demon Lord Leorg Indu, Zepes' older brother. Zepes brags about his big bro to Anos, but Leorg wastes no time and takes Zepes out, saying they don't need a weakling like him in the royal family. Then he turns to Anos, promising to torture him. Anos tells him to quit spouting garbage. Leorg and his goons unleash their magic, but Anos flips the script and makes it backfire in their hands. When Leorg tries some origin magic, it fizzles because, guess what? Anos is the origin itself. Anos resurrects Zepes as a zombie, urging Leorg to unite with his brother to take him on. But Leorg can't even do that, letting Zepes take a swing at him, and Anos is left witnessing the weak family ties of the current generation. Anos demolishes the battlefield, brings the brothers back to life, and tells them to come back once they level up. Leorg's curious about Anos, and our main guy introduces himself as the founder and the demon of tyranny, Anos Voldigode. The next morning at school, Anos cracks a joke in class, but nobody laughs or reacts. He sits next to Misha and asks why everyone's staring at him. Misha tells him it's because the school gave him the badge of a misfit. 2,000 years ago, Anos and hero Kanan, the hero of the human race, had a heated chat about when peace would finally roll into both their worlds. Anos is dead sure that the beef between humans and demons won't wrap up until one of them is totally wiped out. So, to stop this madness, Anos begs Kanan to trust him. He talks about putting up a wall to separate all 4 realms and believes he can whip up a killer magic spell with his own life if they team up. Kanan is totally taken aback, seeing Anos ready to lay down his life for peace, and he admits he never thought he'd actually thank Anos one day. Anos reassures him that he won't kick the bucket because he'll just be reincarnated in a couple thousand years. Then, Kanan plunges a knife into Anos' source, and they make a promise to come back as each other's friends. The wall of division gets set up between the realms. Flash forward 2,000 years, and Anos' mom is holding a baby, while his dad stares at him like he's a little miracle. Just as his dad is about to name him, the baby drops a bombshell and declares his name is Anos Voldigode, leaving his parents in shock. In school, Misha spills the tea to Anos that only the Demon King's descendants can roll into this school, which means no one has ever been called a misfit before. Anos asks Misha what the Demon King's name is, but since they can't say it out loud, she thinks it over while Anos puts a hand on her head. He's surprised to find out the name Avos Dilhevia has been passed down forever. Misha is about to tell Anos who the closest person to the Demon King is when her sister, Sasha Necron, swaggers by in a royal uniform. The classroom teacher, Emilia Ludowell, introduces herself and starts class by asking those who want to be leaders to step up. She mentions they'll need Jais, a magic that makes leaders' groups stronger. Sasha raises her hand, but the class gasps when Anos raises his too, and Emilia reminds everyone that hybrids like Anos can't participate. Anos stands up, cutting through the tension, and seals a Zect with Emilia to show that hybrids can hang with royals. Anos points out that the Jais symbol Emilia drew is all messed up, but she insists it can't be wrong since it's been the same for 2,000 years. Anos brushes off Emilia's rambling and fixes the symbol, making it twice as powerful. Emilia gives Anos the green light as a leader. Sasha introduces herself as a direct descendant of Ivis Necron, one of the 7 elder demon emperors, leaving Anos surprised that Misha isn't a pureblood like her sis. Misha explains they've got the same parents, but their uniforms show a family choice. Anos then introduces himself as the Demon King of Tyranny and tells the class the name they've been believing in is a total fake. Emilia tells the students to join the leader they like, and only Misha sticks with Anos because she calls him her friend. Sasha swings by Anos while he's sitting and shoots him some shade, saying his only teammate is a lifeless doll. She invites him to join her team, but Anos isn't swayed by her words. Sasha tells Misha she's found an amazing friend, then decides to unleash her demonic eyes of destruction on Anos, but it has zero effect, leaving her stunned. The walls crack behind the glass, and when Anos opens his eyes, he's got demonic eyes too, locking eyes with Sasha. He tells her to join his team since she's got cool power, but Sasha brushes him off, acting all high and mighty. After school, Sasha meets Anos and Misha at the gate, throwing down a challenge for a duel. She states that if he wins, she'll join his team like he wanted, but if she wins, he's got to obey her every command. Anos, confident he'll win, agrees to the duel and the stakes. On competition day, Sasha and Misha seal their promise with Zect. On the battlefield, Misha asks Anos for their strategy, and when she mentions using Iris, the magic of creation, Anos tells her to let it rip. From their castle, Sasha's teammate reveals that Misha and Anos have built 3 castles. Sasha assumes 2 of those are traps, and before she can order a counterattack, Anos suddenly appears right in front of their castle. Eventually, they figure out Anos can hear everything they're mumbling about inside their castle, no matter their encrypted spells. Anos strolls closer, and Sasha warns him he can't just break in because of their protection spells. But Anos, not interested in breaking in, casually lifts their whole castle with one hand and tosses it into the sky. When it lands, he catches it like he's juggling and spins it around like a pro. He tosses it aside, wondering if he maybe went a bit too easy on them. Sasha, barely hanging onto their castle now, declares they'll unleash Geograys to take out Anos. Anos is impressed that Sasha has trained her team well enough to trust them with the spell. Sasha's crew links up, refusing to be embarrassed by a hybrid when they're royal, and they fire off Geograys. Anos counters with his own magic that nullifies Geograys and slams it back towards Sasha and her teammates. Sasha yells for everyone to retreat, trying to shield them, but their castle gets wrecked. Anos pops up in front of Sasha, asking her to join his team again, but Sasha's not having it, insisting Anos should just finish her off instead. Misha steps forward as Sasha vows to get stronger and destroy Anos one day, but he reminds her that death isn't the end for him. Realizing Misha wants to be on the same team with her, Sasha reluctantly agrees to join Anos while still wondering if he picked her because of Misha. Anos honestly tells her that her stunning demonic eyes are another reason, catching Sasha off guard as she calls him an idiot. Back at home, Anos' mom is pumped that he won his competition and quickly jumps to the conclusion that Sasha is another bride when she introduces herself. Anos' dad calls him a troublemaker for bringing two girls home so soon, and they all sit down for dinner featuring mushroom gratin. After the meal, Anos' mom hands Sasha and Misha a basket of gratin to take home. As they walk back, Misha holds Sasha's hand, and Anos whispers to Misha about making up with her sister before they say their goodbyes. Sasha doubles back to thank Anos for helping her mend things with Misha, then asks what he'd do if fate throws something his way that he doesn't like. Anos confidently replies he'd just change it by destroying it. Sasha kisses Anos, claiming it's just a kiss between friends. Anos thanks her and leaves with Gadam while Sasha thinks about how glad she is to have met him. Sasha asks Misha if she likes Anos, and when Misha admits she does, Sasha probes what she likes about him. Misha says Anos is kind, but Sasha insists she could have sworn Anos was a devil during the exam. Then Misha flips the question back, asking Sasha if she likes Anos, to which Sasha replies he's just an idiot who thinks her demonic eyes are beautiful when they're actually made to destroy anything in their path. Sasha reflects that Misha is just like Anos because when they were kids, she was isolated because of her eyes, and the only person who could look into her eyes was Misha, who stood by her all along. Sasha begs for Misha's forgiveness, and Misha assures her she's not mad. The next day at school, Misha asks Anos for some advice on what to give Sasha for her birthday tomorrow, and Anos tells her anything would make Sasha happy. Misha lands on clothes as a solid choice. Sasha strolls into class and plops down next to Anos, saying it's best since they're teammates now. She lets Anos know her former teammates want to join his team, but Anos has already declined them. Sasha realizes it's going to be a long semester with their small group, not enough for competitions and quests. Then Emilia steps into class and announces that they're getting a lecture from one of the 7 elder demon emperors because the demon king is set to resurrect this year. Sasha breaks it down for Anos that these demon emperors are the ones created from the blood of the demon king, and they made the academy to train future demon lords. Anos finds it odd that the demon emperors are the deans, especially when all this wrong info from the mythical age has been passed down. Emilia's all like, Anos, behave yourself when the demon lord shows up. But guess what? Ivis Necron rolls in, and Anos is just as stubborn as a goat. He's greeting Ivis like they're old pals, but Ivis just brushes him off, saying he can't remember anything from 2,000 years ago. Anos tries to help him out with his memory, but it hits a dead end, so they decide to revisit that later, and Ivis kicks off his lecture. Emilia's super embarrassed about Anos and even offers to kick him out, but Ivis is like, nah, and everyone's stunned that Anos is getting away with his antics. Ivis starts dropping knowledge about the Necron family's crazy cool technique, fusion magic, and Sasha's over here asking Anos why he isn't taking notes. Anos is like, PSH, I memorized this stuff ages ago. Sasha jumps in, well, I learned it way before too, cause I'm Ivis' direct descendant. But then she's like, too bad, I could only get close to him once. These demon lords are treated like total royalty. After class, Anos and Ivis chat and Ivis has this moment where he realizes he got tossed back in time when Anos touched him earlier. Anos reveals the past's been messed with, which explains the confusing info. Ivis starts questioning Anos if he's the demon king who wiped their memories since he can mess with time magic. Ivis decides to keep an eye on Anos to see if he'll spark any old memories. Once Ivis bounces, Anos gets to thinking about this Avos Dilhevia guy, wondering if he's just some dude pretending to be the demon king. Then, Emilia runs into Anos with something Misha dropped. He meets up with Misha outside, and she's clutching the same letter she had during the entrance exam. She tells Anos it's from the people who raised her and it's her lucky charm. Meanwhile, Sasha's arguing with her old teammates about whether she wants to stay in Anos' crew. Using her demonic eyes, she shoves them away and runs back to Anos and Misha. Time for the dungeon exam, and it's all happening in the demon palace. Emilia's like, "Hey, everyone, bring different relics and weapons." The moment the exam kicks off, students are bolting in, leaving Anos and his squad behind. Sasha's yelling at them to hurry, or they'll miss out, but Anos is all chill about it, asking if they'll really get a perfect score by just grabbing the scepter at the lowest level. Misha and Sasha admit it's possible, but they think the scepter's just a tale, since the teachers have never been down there. But Anos is like, "I know it's there, cause that palace is my castle." As they stroll in, Sasha's telling Anos they've got it easy since the earlier students probably took care of the monsters. Anos tells Misha there's a treasure room on the lowest level where she can snag a gift for Sasha. He offers to pick something for her and asks when her birthday is, only to be shocked that Misha and Sasha are twins. Misha wants to say more, but Sasha interrupts, pointing out a blockage ahead. Anos smirks, saying there's a secret passage behind it and just body checks the wall to reveal it. They step into a magic catalyst room that's soaking up sunlight, and Anos thinks it looks kind of different but brushes it off. They head to this door, leading to an altar. Misha mentions it has anti-magic protection, but Anos just muscles the door open like it's nothing. They find the scepter, and Sasha's totally pumped. Anos takes Misha to the treasure room where she picks the phoenix robe, which gives the wearer immortal flames. For Sasha, as she's grabbing it, she spots a ring in a box. Anos is like, "That's the lily pad ice ring. Wanna take it?" But Misha passes. They step out, and Sasha's all worried when they vanished. Misha hands Sasha her birthday gift and her face lights up. Anos gives them some space when Sasha says she needs to change, but Misha thanks him before he goes. Misha tells Sasha she's grinning because it's the happiest day ever. After a bit, Anos feels something's off, and he's right when he steps out. Sasha has stabbed Misha. She's like, "It's just part of my plan to snag first place in the exam." Anos calls her out on being too soft-hearted for her own scheme and isn't buying her act. Sasha pulls out their Zek to prove she's not playing around. She tells Anos he should focus on saving Misha, who was just made for her use and nothing more. Sasha grips Misha, saying she hates how Misha's always acting nice. When Anos tries to get through to Sasha again, she uses Rent to seal Misha's wound and cut off Anos's access, but he grabs Sasha and reveals he healed Misha the second he found her hurt. Anos can tell Sasha's not being straight with him because her eyes didn't light up like they should, and he demands the truth. But Misha asks Anos to let Sasha go. Sasha calls Misha a dummy as she bolts away, hoping to make it back in time. Anos urges Misha to spill the truth, and she confesses she's supposed to fade away on her 15th birthday because Misha Necron never existed at all. Anos pieces it together that Sasha and Misha are the same person, split in two. He confirms that the reason Sasha could withdraw their Zect was that they're one entity. Anos then asks Misha if Ivis was the one who cast the spell that split her 2,000 years ago, and she nods. She explains that when she was a fetus, she got a piece of Sasha's soul, ending up as an existence that shouldn't even be here. Anos digs deeper, asking if Ivis also used fusion magic on them concurrently. Misha confirms, and Anos surmises that the spell won't last long, meaning eventually they'll be back to being one. He suspects Ivis was trying to cook up a mega powerful demon race, and Misha names the spell Dino Jixes. Anos is seriously disappointed with Ivis for cooking up something so dumb. Misha shares that she accepted her fate to live 15 years and tried to make memories, but nobody talked to her since she didn't exist to them except for Anos. She apologizes, but he pulls her in for a hug, saying he doesn't believe in regret or impossibility. Anos tells Misha to live like there's gonna be a tomorrow, because he'll make her dreams happen. and she wants to make up with Sasha. Anos and Misha catch up to Sasha before she can stray too far. Sasha's like, "Why'd you stop me?" And Anos replies that Misha needs to know the truth. Sasha thinks her useless sister is such a fool. She challenges Anos to a duel, and he's in. Sasha says she'll set up a magic circle, and if Anos can control it, she'll spill Misha's question. Anos offers to close his eyes until the circle's done. Sasha tells Anos when she finishes, drawing the circles, one's dealt, the other's X's. Anos notes, Zexus is a spell that sinks sources, but Sasha cuts him off, wanting him to control Zexus, and he realizes she never intended to win. Anos claims victory and asks Sasha to answer Misha's question. Misha stands before Sasha, and they're silent as Sasha wrestles with her feelings. She can't accept that Misha has to disappear in 15 years because she was the only one there for Sasha when she couldn't connect with anyone else. Sasha had planned to dedicate her life to Misha, who was always hidden away. Finally, Sasha tells Misha she's always hated her and activates Delt, hoping to transfer her life to Misha, but it flops. Sasha's confused why it didn't work, and Misha simply says she doesn't get why Sasha would lie because she secretly likes how awkward she is. Sasha's begging Misha to just reject her already since she's been so cruel from the start. But Misha can't do that. She's like, "Don't worry, I'll always be by your side when we're one." Misha tells Anos she's super happy they made up, and it's like 2 miracles in her life. But Anos steps in, saying the real miracle is still on the way. Remember that aptitude test? He said he'd save both the girl with crazy power and the boy with insane Demon King potential. Misha and Sasha think that's impossible, but Anos is like, "Nah, you two were different demons from the get-go." He asks what happens if their original sources show up now, and bam, they realize 4 sources will merge, making them 2 separate beings instead of 1. But Sasha's worried they won't have enough magic juice to pull off something so wild. Anos says he's got them covered with power from Jais, but the real deal, the main spell they need, is Revide, and only the founding ancestor can pull that off. Anos tells them to trust, he's the real Demon King, not the fake one they've been taught about. The girls are all in because they don't want to be separated, but then, out of nowhere, Ivis barges in and stabs Anos. He claims the girls are supposed to be the vessels to wake the founding ancestor, but Anos, who they thought was done for, opens his eyes and asks why they even need that when he's already awake. Anos blasts Ivis back, yanks the weapon out of his chest, then tosses it at Ivis, pinning him to the wall like a total boss. Anos turns to the girls and kicks off the time travel spell. Halfway through, the Supreme Lord of Time shows up, super ticked off that they're messing with time. He pulls Ivis back into the game and juices him up to wipe Anos out. Anos tries to hit Ivis with Joy Graze, but Ivis is like, that's useless when time stands still. He dodges and goes after Anos. Anos asks if Ivis is really going to destroy the vessel he made just to take him down, but Ivis is not in the mood for chit-chat. Anos shields himself and the girls, telling them to trust him, but they say it's not the time to talk about him being the Demon King. Ivis seizes the moment and stabs Anos, making him vanish. Ivis is pumped about his win, calling Anos his foolish founding ancestor, but then Anos pops back up, taps Ivis on the shoulder, and is like, "Why act like you forgot me?" Annoyed, Ivis freezes time, but Anos doesn't even flinch. Ivis is stunned and charges at Anos again, saying nobody will believe him and no miracle will happen. But Anos reminds the girls he can make their wishes come true, and suddenly they realize he really is the Demon King reawakened. He tells them to shout out that they believe him, and as soon as they do, they're whipped back in time. Ivis can't believe his plan just flopped, but Anos doesn't give him a second to think. He pulls out his demonic sword of destruction, Benizner, and obliterates Ivis. Once Ivis is gone, Anos resurrects the real Ivis, restoring his memories after discovering someone working for Avos had taken over his body before. Anos tells Ivis to investigate what's going on. The girls are stoked to be back, and Anos tells them to hurry up and submit the scepter for that perfect score. Outside the school, Sasha apologizes to Misha for saying she hates her, and they're both happy now. Anos is feeling good about this peaceful vibe and gives Misha the ring she had seen in the treasure room earlier. They goof around a bit, and Anos wishes the girls a happy birthday. Flashback to 2000 years ago. Lignon, the great spirit of water, is causing chaos, and Anos lets his dude, Shin, handle it with one epic sword strike. Shin asks Anos for the ability to come back to life as a treat. and Anos calls him out on not being so strong in source magic. Just then, Hero Kanon shows up, and Anos admits he's no match for Kanon because no matter how many times he dies, he'll just come back. He's got 7 sources. Back in the present, Anos walks into class, and Sasha asks if he can't wait for the scores since they snagged the scepter. Emilia strolls in and announces a new student will be transferring into the school. She warns the hybrids to stay in line since the new kid is royalty and a total sword master. Then Emilia drops the bomb that Anos' team scores a 70, because their scepter got jacked before being appraised. Sasha's not having it, but Emilia paints Anos and his squad as frauds. Misha, a hybrid student, stands up for them, but Emilia shuts her down since Misha is a Unitarian. To smooth things over, Anos stands up, grabs the scepter from another student in the front row, hands it to Emilia, and whispers that next time she wants to play coy, she should do better. Emilia ends class with the announcement that they've got great magic sword training with Sir Gaios and Sir Yidol, the demon lords. The next day, after class, Misha thanks Anos for defending her, and he asks about the Unitarians. Misha explains that the Unitarians fight for unity among demons, hybrids, or royals. She mentions they have backing from Sir Melhais Boran, one of the Demon Lord Emperors, and Anos is like, with a supporter like that, you should have a solid campaign. Misha agrees, adding that the Unitarians believe Anos is the Demon King of Tyranny. Misha asks Misha and Sasha what they think, but the girls claim it's not about belief, it's a fact. Misha guides Anos and the girls to the Union Tower where students can kick back after school. Sasha wonders if Unitarians can gather at school, but Misha reassures her and leads them to the Anos Fan Union headquarters. The Fan Union members go wild when Anos walks in, some even fainting. Sasha's blown away by everything inside, and Misha explains that the stuff there is evidence if the Union gets called into question. Misha wants to show Anos something special and brings him to another part of the building, revealing a sword her dad gifted her. She shares her story, expressing how she believes her dad is a royal who can't be seen with a hybrid like her. She feels her dad probably has the other half of the sword and hopes for a day when hybrids and royals can coexist. She tells Anos that she and her Fan Union buddies want to join him and fight by his side, but Anos insists they need to prove themselves first. During sword training, the students, including Sasha and Misha, struggle to pull their swords from the ground as instructed because their magic power keeps draining. Anos rolls in and says the only sword he couldn't draw was Hero Kanon's. He easily pulls out his sword, and Sir Gaios agrees to take him on. To everyone's shock, the transfer student also manages to draw a sword and faces Sir Yidol. In an epic showdown, both Anos and the transfer student take down the lords. In class, the transfer student refuses to lead, much to Emilia's dismay. He introduces himself as Lei Glanzudlai to Anos and wants to join Anos' team. Anos doesn't jump at the chance right away. He tells the Fan Union to join Lei's team and go up against him in the competition tomorrow. Lei admits he originally wanted to challenge Anos, and Anos admits the same. Lei encourages the Fan Union to trust him, even if he seems a bit flaky as a leader. They're surprised that Lei talks to them like he sees no difference between royals and hybrids. Lei ponderously questions if the founding ancestors ever created that divide in the first place. Sasha's fired up and asks Anos for the game plan. He says he'll take on Lei, while she handles the rest of the crew. Meanwhile, Misha's busy building this epic ice castle, and Sasha's just like, where did she get all that power? Misha's pretty sure it's from her ice pad ring, but Anos feels there's more to it, so he tells the girls to check their sources before he dips. Sasha takes off from the castle to confront their enemies. The arrogant misfit catches up with Lei, who's just chilling, and apologizes for making him wait. Lei's got a blunt sword on him because he lent his magic and sword to Misha and the others. Anos jokes that he'll take Lei down with a stick since they're clearly not on equal footing. And over with the Fan Union, they whip up a robot to take on Misha and Sasha, but Anos tells the girls to team up and unleash Geo Grays. Sasha's hesitant, but Anos convinces her to trust him, and Misha kicks off the power merge. Once they're all powered up, Sasha lets loose with Geo Grays, and it hits them just how strong they've become. After fusing their powers, they realize they're unstoppable. Misha shows up ready to brawl with Sasha and her sword. Meanwhile, Anos and Lei are having a friendly spar, and Lei's actually pushing Anos to grow stronger in their fight. Misha joins in with Sasha, and together, they totally wreck Misha and the robot castle. They're all stoked at how in sync they are, especially since it's their first time combining powers. Anos and Lei blow mountains to bits, and when Sasha calls out to Anos, he casually mentions they'll be back to normal overnight because of all the magic energy. Lei gives Anos' tree branch a slice, but Anos still claims victory, leaving Lei feeling like he missed the chance to join Anos' squad. Anos tells Lei to just call him by his name, and Lei recognizes him like, "Didn't I meet you 2,000 years ago?" Anos agrees that Lei seems familiar, promising he won't even let Lei scratch his sword next time they duel. Anos' mom is all proud of him for winning again, and Misha asks if she should really be there since it's Team Anos' party. Anos reassures her it's cool because she's under his wing now, having found an ability similar to the great spirit of water within her. His dad chimes in, saying Anos is gonna make an awesome demon lord someday, which is exactly why he went to the academy. Anos' mom reveals she visited Sir Leo Ludoel, the Misha's demon lord and Emilia's dad, to help Anos out. His parents are giving it their all, while Lei's watching curiously. Anos, ever the nosy buddy, notices Lei and Misha chatting off to the side when his dad brings him some tea. Misha and Sasha are flipping through Anos' baby pics with his mom, and Sasha's blown away. Just like Misha said, Anos was 1 month old. His dad adds that Anos nearly didn't make it out of his mom's womb, but she prayed hard and promised to care for him. So here he is, thriving. Outside, Misha thanks Lei for helping her get on Anos' team. Lei feels bad, thinking if he had attacked those 2 Necrons instead of Anos, they might have taken the win, and the whole fan union could have joined Team Anos. Misha's curious why Lei talks like a regular dude and not like a royal, but Lei insists his focus is his sword. Misha figures that means Lei's a prime Unitarian, which is exactly what they're about. Lei tells her to cut it out with the flattery and asks if she ever feels sick since she's half spirit and half demon. Misha admits she gets weak sometimes but is okay. Lei points out that half spirit, half demons aren't known for long lives, especially after using spirit magic. They head back inside after their chat. Next day in class, Emilia announces that Lei and Anos are set for the magic sword tournament and tells them to prepare their magic swords. Lei's pumped for a rematch with Anos, but Anos is worried the royals won't want him to win, so he's suspicious about their motives. Misha jumps in, asking if Anos wants to meet Sir Melhais, and he's totally down. Melhais is excited to see Anos and instantly recognizes him as the demon lord of tyranny. Anos asks if Melhais remembers him, and Melhais lets slip that he lost his memories 2,000 years ago, just like Ivis. He shares that after Anos's death, he found himself in the forest of Great Spirit Ahardern and managed to cross the wall. It took him a century to gather enough energy to return to Delsgod, and by then, the Demon King was known as Avos Delhavia. Anos asks if Melhais knows who put him in the magic sword tournament, and Melhais thinks it's the royal supremacists. Misha interjects, saying those are the royalists, and Melhais adds they might be trying to crush the Unitarians' hope since they believe in Anos. He begs Anos not to fall for the royalists' trap and step out of the tournament, hoping Avos will show up. When Anos gets home, he runs into Misha. His mom mentions that last time, Misha wanted to cook for him, so she invited her over. They dig into some mushroom gratin that Misha whipped up. Anos' mom mentions that Emilia came over to tell her Anos would be in the magic sword tournament. Anos is skeptical, thinking it's a setup to force him into the competition. His mom encourages him, saying it'll boost his chances of becoming the demon lord, and Misha backs her up. Anos figures he'll need a sword, and his mom almost spills a secret before they change the topic. After their meal, Anos' mom tells Misha to take some food for Sasha, but Misha says Sasha's busy with tournament prep. Anos decides to treat Sasha as a thank you for dinner. The next day, Misha takes Anos to her favorite spot, the magic model shop, the homeland of the Dragon of Creation. Anos is amazed by all the cool stuff there, and the shopkeeper thanks Misha for her last creation because they found a buyer. Misha uses Iris to create a souvenir for Sasha, making a tiny version of everyone at their dinner. Misha tells Anos to whip up something too, and he proudly claims his creation will be unique. Anos makes a jaw-dropping masterpiece that even the shop owner begs him to keep instead of selling it. Anos turns his creation into a ring and gives it to Misha. She feels guilty because he's the one who's always helping her, but he reassures her that he believes she'll outshine him one day with her creativity and magic. Misha promises to push herself closer to mastering her magic, and Anos tells her he'll be waiting for that moment. Later, they hit up a cat cafe, and Anos chats with Ivis, who's disguised as a kitty. Ivis informs him that Melhies isn't behind the Unitarians. He thinks it's someone else and hasn't figured out who just yet. He also hints that while Lord Elio runs the Log North Magic Clinic, there's likely someone else pulling strings behind the scenes. Anos tells Ivis to keep digging into Melhies and the others. At the clinic, Anos and Misha encounter Lay at the gate. He asks what they're doing there, and Anos casually says he's just passing by. Lay reveals he's there to visit his mom, and Anos offers to heal her, but Lay turns him down. Anos mentions he might not compete in the tournament, and Lay's surprisingly chill about it, promising they'll settle their scores another day. Misha observes that Lay seems different, and Anos decides to have Ivis look into him too. The next day, Anos' mom shows up at school, and just when she's about to spill another secret, she freaks out and starts cheering him on. Then Ivis rolls in to update Anos, saying Melhies isn't behind the tournament, it's actually Gaius and Idol pulling the string. He also drops a bomb that Lay's mom is sick with the spirit disease, which shocks Anos because he didn't even know such a disease existed. Anos decides he might pull out of the competition just to see how Avos reacts to it. First up in the battles is Kurt Ludowol, the defending champ, going toe-to-toe with Anos. Anos takes a step back, and all the students start thinking he's running away because he calls himself the Demon King. But he's just a hybrid. Misha feels bad for Anos since he's sitting out because of the Unitarian. But Anos' mom is super hurt by the students' comments, shouting that Anos can totally become the Demon King. Right on cue, Anos' dad bursts in, sword in hand, and Anos decides to jump into the fight to make his parents proud. He tells Kurt he'll finish him in just 1 minute. Meanwhile, Lay is seen all hurt in a room, clutching his chest. In the arena, Anos is just wrecking opponent after opponent in the sword fights. The fan union is going wild for him, and even starts singing a song about all his crazy skills. Anos wipes the floor with the toughest opponent in his round. And his parents, the crowd, you name it, they're all losing it in shock. The royal, he just smashed, asks how he got taken out with such a lowly sword. Anos stands over him with a smirk, saying, there's more to a sword than just magical power. It's all about the love from a true craftsman. Anos' dad is totally crying happy tears at that, but Amelia looks like she's seething because Anos just took down a royal. Misha pops into the waiting room to congratulate Anos on his first round victory, but he tells her not to celebrate too soon. The fight's not over yet. Suddenly, there are loud cheers outside as Lay comes out on top in the second round, meaning he'll face Anos in the finals. Misha and Anos are both shocked when Lay is introduced with the Log North Royal House name. He's part of the royalist group now. Just then, Lay enters the room, and before they can bombard him with questions, he tells them to keep it to themselves. When asked what the royal faction offered him to join, Lay seems totally different from the guy they met before. He lets them know they tossed a ton of cash his way, along with the Demon Lord position. Misha and Anos try to convince him to back off, but Lay starts to walk away, saying he can't be friends with them anymore. He turns and tells Anos he plans to kill him, but Anos isn't fazed and counters as Lay launches a surprise attack. Anos grabs his chest like it hurts and almost goes for his heart, but Lay surrenders instead, saying they'll meet in the finals. As he leaves, Anos tells Misha that Lay's wearing a collar that's blocking his power sources, so he's probably being held hostage. Misha is shocked, and Anos thinks Lay's not going to ask him for help directly, maybe because his mom's in the hospital. Anos, the top misfit, keeps crushing it in the competition and heads to the finals, much to the delight of his friends and family, and the annoyance of the royals. After that day's matches, Anos's friends and parents all gather around to hype him up for his awesome performance. His dad gets praise for his amazing craftsmanship, and Anos whispers to Misha that the sword is made with love. His dad promises to come back for the finals the next day, and his mom offers to hold his sword for him since he needs to rest. The sword is way too heavy for her, but she insists on protecting it with her life. The fan union tags along with her while Misha and Anos teleport to Lay's mom's house. Misha is totally shocked and feels pity for how sick Lay's mom looks. Anos explains that spirit disease makes her magic powers fade, and her source get all weak. They realize she's half spirit, half demon, just like Misha. This means, since Lay is royal, he wasn't raised by his actual parents. Just then, Lay's mom wakes up and says she has been aware this whole time. She talks about Lay mentioning Anos and how he's made a new friend. Anos asks if she knows about the collar on Lay's neck, and she confirms she does. She explains that because of her treatment, Lei is pretty much a puppet for the royalists. He tells her that he plans to heal her and asks what she knows about her disease. She shares what she can, but Anos needs to know her traditions to help her. Lei's mom opens up about Lei, saying he was excited about getting beaten earlier. She begs Anos not to let him swing a coward's sword, as that's just not who he is. Lei's mom is looking weaker, and Misha offers to share her source with her, even though it could be super dangerous and might wipe both of them out. Lei's money disagrees, but kind-hearted Misha doesn't back down, and Anos gets ready to start the spell. She tells Lei's mom she's okay with risking it if it means ending the fight between Lei and the Unitarians, and that she believes in Anos. Meanwhile, as Anos's mom and the fan union head home, Emilia shows up out of nowhere, trying to trick her into handing over Anos's sword. Anos's mom stands firm, saying she'll deliver the sword to the steering committee herself, but Emilia tries to yank it from her and blasts her, shocking all the girls. Anos's mom twists her ankle, and Emilia attempts to blast her again, but the girls jump in to defend her, taking the hit and getting blasted to the ground. Anos's mom is stunned that their teacher would act like this, but Emilia calls them thieves instead of students, furious that Anos knocked off someone from the pureblood Duel family. Anos's mom tries to convince Emilia how wrong it is to steal the sword, but gets blasted again in anger, only to have it blocked by the girls. They tell Anos's mom to run because they can't hold off the blast much longer. She takes off, but doesn't get far before the girls are blasted to the ground again. They don't quit though, getting back up and singing Anos' victory song, vowing to protect his mom with their lives. This annoys Emilia even more, and with a huge blast, she takes them out for good. She doesn't waste time and goes to blast Anos' mom again. But that's when Anos shows up and deflects it. He paralyzes Emilia, heals his mom's ankle, and brings all the girls back to life. Anos is moved by their loyalty and asks for their names. They tell him, and he promises he won't forget, saying he owes them. Anos then gets ready to face Emilia himself, leaving things with his mom. He grabs her by the neck and teleports her straight to the arena. He stabs her with a sword, telling her she can plead for mercy if she wants. Emilia refuses at first, but when he pushes the sword deeper into her back, she finally begs for mercy. Anos kills her anyway, calling her a liar who deserves to rot in fire. He takes her down for good, but then resurrects her, bringing her back as a hybrid. She tries to end it herself, but Anos lets her know she won't succeed because of the curse he placed on her before teleporting away, leaving her in her misery. Back at Lei's mom's place, Misha keeps doing her spell and doesn't notice, as Lei sneaks up behind her with a knife, asking what she's doing. He warns her that she'll run out of power if she keeps going. He tells her she's too trusting and asks if Anos knows, but she lies and says he doesn't. He tries to convince her to stop, but Misha is adamant, insisting that this is why she joined the Unitarians. She needs to see Lei break free from the royalists. He thanks her for caring, but then knocks her out so she can't continue the spell. Lei's mom calls out to him, and when he tries to explain things, she cuts him off, saying she's already aware. Lei tells her to hold on, and she thanks him just for having met him. So, we kick off with this heavy flashback, right? We see the moment Lei got ditched by his family, but thank goodness, his current mom swoops in to save him and raises him as her own. Before she passes away, she tells him she'll always be with him and to just be himself. Lei's totally bummed about her death, but he decides to walk out right after, and boom, Anos shows up. He moves over to the window, watching as Lei seems like he's about to turn back but ultimately keeps on walking. Fast forward to the finals. Misha hands Anos his sword and wishes him good luck. As he steps into the arena, the crowd, including the fan union and Anos folks, goes wild, and Anos and Lei share this menacing smile at each other. The day of the finals is here, and Anos is ready to face off against Lei, the sword master. Both sides are cheering for their favorites, and the rules get laid out. And get this, today's rules are a bit different. They both get these special bracelets, and if any of them gets destroyed, that'll count as a loss. Plus, if Anos beats Lei, the magic sword's gonna wipe out Lei's power source. Anos is there, wondering if he should just do nothing and let the bracelet drain his magic. But then bam, the competition's on, and everyone takes their positions. Lei goes in for the first strike, and Anos is on the defense. Lei's looking fired up, and he tells Anos he knows the bracelet's draining his power. He even drops a bombshell that the royalists want him to buy some time. The magic sword is closing in on Lei's power source, and everyone's like, what? But Lei's got nothing to lose since he couldn't save his mom, so he's determined to take Anos down with him. Anos tells him to focus on their fight, and things start heating up. They're throwing down with equal strength, moving so fast the audience can barely keep up. Then, out of nowhere, Lei slices off Anos' hand, and Anos stabs him back. Cue the gasps from the crowd. Suddenly, they get zapped into this dimension where time stops. And guess who shows up? Melhise, the dude who planted the magic sword inside Lei and picked Anos for this crazy competition. He's all smug, thinking he's got the upper hand since he trapped Anos in this frozen place and that the bracelets drained almost all his magic. But Anos, he's still super confident. Melhise tells Anos Lei's out of the game and brings in 2 more Elder Demon Emperors. One of them warns Melhise not to underestimate Anos, but Melhise brushes it off. Big mistake. Anos blasts the 2 elders and freezes them in time. Lei surprisingly gets resurrected, shocking Melhise, and they reveal their plan. Melhise admits he never saw this coming, but Lei trusts the misfit, yet Melhise still thinks he's winning, showing them where Sheila's tied up. Lei freaks out, screaming as Melhise threatens to kill her and demands. Lei swears loyalty to the royalists, but Anos, he's all like, go ahead, do it. Anos strikes first. Melhise tries to fight back, but he's too slow as Lei rushes into a portal where his mom's being kept. But wait, Melhise isn't done yet. He attacks with Ben 11, the same spell Anos used ages ago to sacrifice himself. Anos throws up a shield, and Melhise is all cocky, thinking Anos can't last long in his current state. Wrong again. The same hand that got cut off goes for Melhise, and he dodges just in time, hiding in this absolute space that no spells can break into. From there, he attacks Lei and Sheila with Ben 11. But guess who's got their back? Anos. He's pushing his magic to the limit and asks Lei if there's anything he can do. Lei suggests that Anos should create a magic sword, so he can slice through Melhise's spells. Anos gives it a shot, but it totally flops, the sword gets wrecked, and Lei crashes to the ground. Before he gets blasted, Anos jumps in to save him. Lei's feeling weak, but Sheila shows up to cheer him on. She reaches out, and Anos is stunned that she remembers her true form right before death. Sheila transforms into a sword, and Lei uses it to cut through the dark magic. She takes him down memory lane, recalling how he couldn't slice through a pot when he was younger. Lei's thrilled and finally nails it. Sheila tells him to show her what a grown-up Lei can do. With a fierce swing, he cuts through the Ben 11, and just like that, Sheila turns back into a human and tells him she loves him before fading away. Lei's eyes well up, but Anos urges him to hold off those tears because they've still got to take down Melhise, who's already retreated back to his absolute space. Here's the twist. Anos' magic sword previously marked Melhise, giving Anos access to that space. Melhise tries to attack again, but he's outclassed since, despite all the power Anos has shown, he's still not back to his full glory from before he was reincarnated. They clash, but Anos counters his move. Melhise tries bailing, but Anos slices his legs right off. Melhise keeps attempting to open portals, but Anos smashes every one of them. Anos stabs Melhise straight in the forehead, dragging him back to the arena, where suddenly he's not himself anymore. He snaps back to reality and apologizes to Anos, saying after their last encounter, some unknown entity has been messing with him. He tells Anos to summon Idol and Gaios, the other 2 elders, and then he tries to revive the sources controlling them, probably from Avos Dilhevia. Just when he seems to have a plan, a dark figure in the shadows butts in and messes everything up. So he lets that figure go and tells Melhise to get Idol and Gaios back. Meanwhile, the crowd, who's been totally clueless about what's happened, finally clued in when Anos releases the spell. Lays back on the ground, and Anos gets declared the winner. His parents and friends lose it with joy. Anos surprises everyone by saying he owes his win to the sword his dad made for him, claiming his dad poured his soul into crafting it. His dad tears up hearing that, and his mom beams with pride. Medics rush in to help Lei, but Anos steps in, telling him it's finally over. He tears up a little too and tells Lei not to cry as he brings Sheila back to life. Everyone gasps in shock. Sheila's like, wait, what? And Anos explains it was a breeze once he realized her true form was a sword. Sheila's ecstatic to see her boy grow up while Anos and Lei shake hands. Finally, it's award time for Anos, and here comes Sasha in this stunning black gown. Anos can't help but grin like a goof because Misha mentioned she'd be handing out the awards. Sasha casually stretches the award to him, but Anos taps in with, Hey, do it properly. She rolls her eyes about the tradition but goes for it anyway, leaning in to give him a kiss in congratulations. The crowd gasps again and Sasha shouts, "It's just custom, chill." She whispers that she only agreed because she knew he'd win and she wouldn't praise any other demon king. Anos gives her a friendly head pat and strides over to Misha, who asks if he had a blast. He tells her it was totally entertaining, and the three of them smile as the crowd erupts in cheers. 2,000 years ago, Hero Kanan comes face to face with Anos, right outside the capital city of Garadite. Kanan thinks Anos is all about invading, but nah, Anos just wants to chat. He's like, "Let's end this war, dude." Humanity isn't the only one craving peace. Just as Anos is spilling his motives, Jurga bursts onto the scene, acting all tough and trying to attack Anos. Spoiler, it doesn't end well. Anos throws up a barrier like it's nothing. Jurga's trying to smash through it, calling Anos a liar about the peace talks, swearing he's gonna avenge his loved ones. Then boom, Jurga crashes through the barrier and tells Kanan not to buy Anos's BS. Anos waits till Jurga is fueled up by the human troops before stabbing him right in the gut. He drops the bomb, saying humans also killed his mom, before disappearing in a flash. Anos throws out an invite to Kanan, saying if he's down for peace, come find him in Delskade. Jurga, mortally wounded, assures Kanan he's all good and goes on about how demons can never be trusted. He tells Kanan to take Anos out because that's the only way for the humans to find peace. Kanan, feeling Jurga's desperation, leaves him to his fate. Jurga swears he's gonna make sure Anos is history. Fast forward to the present, Sasha is stepping out of her mansion, grumbling because Misha didn't wake her up before ditching the house. She runs into Anos and Misha, asking why they're school buddies now. Misha says Anos's mom was teaching her how to whip up lunch. Sasha's like, "You should have woken me if you were going to Anos's place." Misha says she tried, but Sasha didn't budge. Anos chimes in, asking if he should wake her next time. Sasha mumbles that it doesn't even make sense. Their convo gets interrupted as Lei and Misha join in. At school, the new temporary homeroom teacher, Menno Historia, steps in to replace Amelia. The royal students freak out, wondering if Amelia quit. Menno calms them down and announces that in 3 weeks, they'll have inter-academy classes. The 3rd and 1st year students will represent their school at Izeshin's Hero Academy in the human realm. The class is shook, but Menno reassures them that plans have been in place for a while, just got approved last minute. Since the students are clueless about heroes and won't learn until 3rd year, Menno dives into hero history. She tells them heroes were the courageous warriors leading human forces during the Age of Chaos. She mentions troop magic similar to Demon's Guise and asks if anyone knows about it. Anos jumps in saying it's Asla. Unlike Jais, which spreads power among subordinates, Asla is all about sharing the power with the leader, who uses Ask to turn their allies' souls into magic power. Menno finishes up, saying they'll have an Asla versus Gai's competition and tells Anos she's impressed with his smarts. The fan union is totally into it too. After class, Anos is giving Lei, Misha, and Sasha some tutoring during study hall to help boost their magic skills. He tells Sasha her demonic eyes have more potential than she's showing, while the others see Anos isn't going easy on them during sparring. Misha hands Lei a sword, but before you know it, Anos destroys it in seconds and wrecks Misha's barriers too. He tells Misha to step up her creation, magic, and pushes Lei to learn how to fight without a sword. Misha tries using spirit magic, but Anos has to step in, suggesting she finds a better way to fight. After a solid training session, Anos's crew is ready to take on anything. Later that evening, Anos gets a sitrep from Melhai's about Yidal and Gaio's status. Anos wonders why Melhai's source wasn't hijacked, and Melhai's thinks it's unfortunate they might not have enough trusted peeps. Anos is like, this could be a trap, though. Melhai's warns Anos to stay sharp at the Inter-Academy class, thinking it's weird a Hero Academy was even created. The next day, Anos shows off his epic sword collection from his treasure vault, and when Lei gets offered one, he's super interested in the unique sword Sigchesta. Anos encourages Lei to try it out, but when he creates a statue, Lei can't slash through it. Anos explains that Sigchesta can change forms and that it has its own heart and soul. He tells Lei to focus, or else the sword stays dull. He adds that back in his previous life, only his right-hand man could handle that sword. Lei acknowledges he's from another era but doesn't remember much, and asks if Anos promised anything to that guy. This makes Anos recall the promise he made to Kanan. On the day of the event, Menno, using an owl to speak, tells the students they need to find their way to the Hero Academy, but Anos makes it easy and teleports everyone there in a heartbeat. Lei says he'll check things out while Misha and Misha help the fan union navigate. With some downtime, Anos and Sasha tour the academy. Anos thinks the human realm is chill now and feels good about it. Sasha makes him promise not to stir up trouble before the exams. Anos, all serious, says he has common sense and that he really finds her eyes stunning, asking if he could have them. Sasha teases that she'll give him her eyes if he stops treating her like a kid. At the academy entrance, they meet third-year Eleanor Bianca. After hearing their intentions, she says she'll show them the library. There, Eleanor spills the tea that Kanon was the one who built the walls that split the 4 areas 2,000 years ago. This hits Sasha hard, but Anos stops her, asking Eleanor who the demon lord is. She responds with Avos Dilhevia, and mentions the elite heroes known as Jurga, Kanon, stating there are 4 reincarnations of Kanon. Then, Ledriano Kanon, Azishan, the first heart of the hero, pops up after hearing Anos call out the Hero Academy's messed up info. He asks Anos which part is flawed. Laos Kanon Jilfor, the third heart, shows up too. Despite them being there, Anos straight up doesn't believe they're the hero's reincarnation. And before anyone can breathe, Laos goes for Anos. But Anos effortlessly blinks away the attack. Ledriano steps in, stopping the fight and apologizing to Anos. Outside, Anos mentions that he knew Kanon 2 years ago, and Eleanor reveals that Kanon was murdered 2,000 years ago by a human. Meneu greets a bunch of worn-out students and hands out an A for effort. One notices Anos's crew and asks when they rolled in. Menno explains Anos and his pals arrived the same day they all set out, which surprises the students. Anos and the squad walk with Eleanor ahead, pumped that class day has finally arrived. Eleanor glances back, and Misha spots she seems a bit sad. Ledriano, Laos, and another hero look on, seething as they see the demon students entering the academy. Revest Annie, a third year from the demon academy, approaches Anos and his crew, throwing accusations of cheating. Anos tells Revest not to sweat it since he arrived in 2 days, but Revest ends with a jab, claiming he doesn't believe Anos is the Demon King and simply walks away. In class, the Demon King and Hero Academy students are all together. Diego, the headmaster of the Hero Academy, announces they'll kick things off with recreation magic. He picks Ledriano to represent the Hero Academy, while Menno hesitates until Revest steps up and she chooses him. Ledriano performs Lihid magic with ease, saying the spell boosts things up. He amps the strength of a sword and shatters a statue. Revest tries to showcase his magic, Nedra, but it flops hard, and Ledriano takes the chance to roast him in the Demon King Academy. Anos calls out Ledriano for cheating with spell blockers, claiming he used Delenos, which seals off a demon's magic. With a snap of his fingers, he breaks the spell, turning that mouse Revest tried to cast on into a monster. Anos then conjures a sword using Lihid, and you can feel the tension growing between the academies as Revest shoots him a fierce glare. Ledriano spills the tea, saying Anos is the reincarnation of the Demon King. But that just angers the royals who totally reject the idea of that misfit being their king. Later that night, Anos is chilling with Ivis, and he learns that there's no record of Kanon being killed by a human. But there's something shady going on within the academy. An old saying hints that darkness will swallow up Azishan again. The locals pray for a hero to arrive with the spirit, human sword, Evan's mana to cleanse the world. Ivis suspects they're aiming to take down the reincarnated Demon King, Anos. Just then, a knock on the door interrupts their convo. It's Misha and Sasha, asking if he's got some time to hang out. Anos tells Ivis to keep digging into things. Down at the city center, everyone in Azeshan is throwing a massive festival to celebrate the birth of hero Jurga. Anos spots Lei practicing some archery with Misha there to cheer him on, but Sasha pulls him back, saying it's better to let them be. Misha and Lei start chatting about how students from the Hero Academy look down on Demon King school kids. Lei pulls Misha's cheek, boosting her spirits, and says she never gets worked up even when others shade her. Misha brushes it off, saying she's not that great, but Lei wants to show appreciation since her strength helped save his mom when she was sick. After winning the archery contest, Lei gets to pick a necklace, and Anos along with the twins are watching from the sideline. Lei chooses a single shell necklace with 2 strands, slipping it on Misha as a heartfelt thank you. The next day, Misha's buddies from the Anos fan union are buzzing about her necklace, but she plays coy about who gave it to her. Anos's crew is passing by when Misha compliments her bling and hints that they saw everything unfold yesterday. Sasha thinks the necklace story is super romantic, and Anos jumps in with the backstory on the mission's necklace. Misha chimes in that breaking the necklace means a proposal. The fan union catches wind of Lei giving Misha the necklace and starts teasing him about marrying her, leaving Misha blushing like crazy. At Lake Same, Demon King and Hero Academy students are kept apart by their respective academies. Anos notices that Eleanor is Mia, and Sasha wonders if she's sick. Diego announces that the inter-academy exams are about to kick off here, expecting everyone to use their troop magic, Jais, and Asla. He goes on about how Lake Same boasts underground cities and caverns. Anos offers his team and the fan union, but they pick Rivest's crew instead. Rivest scoffs at the thought of letting the clueless misfit represent them, since Menno's reputation is at stake too. Rivest's group is trying to cast a spell to investigate the lake, while Anos chats with Menno about Rivest. Menno tells him that Rivest was a slacker who didn't vibe with the founding ancestor during his freshman year, but now he's the top student and a royalist. Anos asks what changed for him, and Menno reveals that she heard the founding ancestor likely wanted to protect rather than destroy, which made Rivest respect the Demon King. Anos asks if they can find the ancestors' beliefs in the textbooks, but she insists that teaching isn't all about books. Rivest's teammates are struggling to cast spells, but he's keeping it chill, suspecting their magic power is stagnant. He tells them to keep him updated through leaks, and they agree. But then, out of nowhere, heroes show up and even leaks stop working. Laos tells one of Rivest's guys that their magic is flopping because it's been weakened. One by one, his teammates get taken out by Hero Academy students. Sasha realizes they can only see the Hero Academy students and comments that they couldn't have set up a barrier that quickly. Misha thinks they must have put it up earlier. Menno asks Anos if he noticed anything fishy, and he lends her his demonic eyes to figure it out. Anos reveals that the Hero Academy is cheating with water, which boosts heroes while draining demons' powers, and Menno is not happy about it. Anos guesses that something or someone is behind the supply of endless water. Rivest's crew tells him they can't contact anyone outside the castle, just as the heroes start approaching. He tells them to hold off firing at the heroes for a minute, but when they finally do shoot, the heroes just slide right through. Ledriano, Laos, and Hein wreck the castle, holding Rivest and the others, and it's chaos as almost everyone gets wiped out. Menno tells Diego to help the students because it's cheating, but he tells her to hang tight until backup arrives. Feeling like a loser, Menno tries to dive in to save her students, but Anos stops her and uses his magic to pull them back. Once Anos gets the students back, Menno tries to heal them, but her magic backfires because of a stigma. Diego blames her for messing up the exam. At first, Rivest is hesitant to accept Anos' help, but he comes around after hearing Anos respects him. He spills that the heroes used their school badge to control the magic gear that sealed away the demon's power. Rivest breaks down, asking Anos for help, and Anos heals him, letting him know he's done his best, and he's got the rest covered. In the second round of the exam, Anos' squad faces off against the Hero Academies, Hein, Laos, and Ledriano. Hein jokingly suggests draining the lake if it puts them at a disadvantage, and Anos takes it seriously, using his magic to drain it. Diego wants to cancel the exam, but the hero class and Menno insist on continuing. Ledriano, feeling confident, thinks they've got the upper hand. The second round kicks off with Anos using Jais, while the Hero Academy crew counters with Asla. A creepy voice whispers in the heroes' heads, pushing them to kill the demons. Sasha asks Anos what the plan is, and he says he'll come up with one if they need it. Anos creates a massive black hole and sends it toward the enemy team, but a barrier deflects it, thanks to a young girl with a sword. Anos realizes some heroes might actually be tough. Lei, who always needs everything explained, asks about the barrier they're using, and Anos tells him it's the Igelia, which drains the enemy's power while boosting allies. The twins figure they won't get very far if they need to destroy the barrier first. Misha suggests building a demon castle inside the barrier, as its structure will help protect their power. It'll take her 3 minutes to assemble the castle, and Anos vows to cover her while she works. He teleports them inside the barrier, and Misha starts feeling its effects. So Anos casts a recovery spell on her, telling her he's counting on her. Misha quickly sets up Iris, creating the castle, just as Ledriano, Heine, Rouse, and the young girl come at Anos. Anos waves off all the heroes except for the girl who deflected his attack, Earlier, he wants to know her name. Ledriano introduces her as Zeshia, Kanan, Ijazuka, the top rank in Hero Academy and the fourth source of hero reincarnation. Wielding the Sword of Light, Inhale. The heroes try to cast anti-barrier chains at Misha, but Anos intercepts the attack and breaks them with Jiras, causing a blast that hurts the heroes. Zeshia charges at Anos, but he deflects her strike. Anos senses something's off. Those four heroes aren't the true source of the barrier's power, and Misha informs him that her castle is ready. Meanwhile, Sasha faces off against Laos, thinking he's a pushover for Anos to deal with, while Lei takes on Hein. Without wasting a moment, Laos charges at Sasha, but she dodges all his attacks, swiping his school badge away, which halts his power for a bit. Sasha shoots up into the sky, and Laos follows, swinging his weapon until Sasha tosses the badge back. Laos seizes the chance to trap Sasha with barrier magic. Birdist. He tries to finish her off, but gets hit by his own magic, coughing up blood and collapsing. Oops, too late for him. He realizes Sasha poisoned the badge before returning it. With the clock ticking, Sasha breaks free from Birdist thanks to her demonic eyes and finishes off Laos too. Hein traps Lei in this crazy barrier, saying only his power works in there. He even threatens that using Zell to slash his wound will give Lei a stigma. But guess what? Lei can still move, and, with a sword that moves on its own, he cuts off Heine's left arm. Heine just grows it back and acts all cocky, thinking he'll still win. But Lei's not having it. He uses his Zeolo sword to break the barrier and takes down Hein with style. Hein calls for his swords, but they stay with Lei, and Lei leaves him with just one stigma. Then we shift gears to Anos, who's not about to let Ledriano off easy. He calls him out for faking his death. Ledriano, impressed, summons his sword, Baramente. Zeshia tries to ambush Anos, but he's too strong, dodging her attacks like a pro. When Zeshia lunges at him, he blocks it, but Ledriano tries to sneak in an attack too. Anos deflects both of them, exposing their lame tactics. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Ledriano and Zeshia team up with their friends and the Garadite people to perform the Ask spell. Anos hasn't seen that in like 2,000 years. Ledriano brags that Azeshan's population is way bigger now, and they attack with newfound confidence, saying they'll show Anos the strength of human love. But Anos counters with his own Ask, fueled by a song from the Anos fan union. Suddenly, it's tough for Zeshia and Ledriano to hit him, and they start wondering why this is happening. Anos totally overpowers Ledriano, but then a creepy voice starts echoing in the students' minds, chanting, "Kill the demon king of tyranny." Even the demon students aren't spared. The fan union picks up the chant, but Misha catches it and warns everyone to focus on Anos instead. The Ask above them goes poof, and Misha appears, asking Anos what just happened. Misha tells him that the voice is full of hatred. Ledriano won't give up, preparing for more action. While Zeshia tries a risky spell called Gavel, Anos begs her not to do it, but she ignores him and ends up hurting herself. Ledriano is shattered when he sees Anos survive, but Zeshia comes back for round 2 with Gavel. On her third try, Anos steps in, connecting with Eleanor, who asks him to visit the shrine since she's the only one who can stop Zeshia. Anos asks Misha if she heard Eleanor and tells her to go ahead while he handles Zeshia. As Misha rushes to the shrine, Diego ambushes her. He casts a spell that weakens her and stabs her with his enhanced sword, breaking the exam rules. Dude. Anos shows up, impales Diego, throws up a barrier around Misha, and heals her up. Anos gives Diego the 3rd degree about the Hero Academy's shady motives, killing and bringing him back while he's at it. Realizing Diego's behind that creepy voice, Anos magically turns him into a monster that reveals his true self. Diego tries to rally his students to attack the Demon King crew, and they start moving like zombies, ready to charge at the demon students. Even Diego wants to blow up the order, but fails because Anos just froze time over the whole lake. Anos snatches Diego's source orb and lays down the law about Canon's true nature, saying Canon can reincarnate because he's got 7 sources. Anos makes it clear Diego is not hero, Canon, and crushes the source orb, putting Diego down for good. Carrying Misha, Anos dives deep into the temple and finds Eleanor, trapped in an orb. When he asks who she is, she says she's magic. Eleanor explains she's a humanoid magic spell created by a taboo magic spell that transforms humans into magic. With Misha in his arms, Anos realizes she took the hit meant for Delia and healed the student's wounds. But he's still focused on getting rid of the Gavel spell Diego put on Jurga Kanan, because if he doesn't, all the students' sources could explode, even with Anos holding it down. If Eleanor is freed, she promises she'll figure out how to dispel Govel, since source magic is her jam. Anos agrees, and bam, Eleanor instantly dispels Govel. Misha notices Jais has also been removed, and they start to wonder if it's finally over. After finishing her task, Eleanor drops some heavy info about the Hero Academy cloning humans with her as the mastermind. She says everyone was forced into existence by her source magic, so there's always a replacement if they get taken out. Anos thinks that's nuts, but Eleanor says the big bad from 2,000 years ago, Jurga, is the one behind this. She tells Anos that Jurga created the academy to keep his hate for demons alive in his descendants, and turned his source into spells to wipe out demons. One spell is Ask, which constantly nags everyone to kill demons. Though it's said to hold Kanan's spirit, it's really just Jurga's thirst for revenge. Eleanor flashes back to Kanan, trying to talk Jurga down before he was killed, for believing only humans should take out the Demon King. Kanan's betrayal left him bitter, and he stopped reviving, growing tired of humans. Anos is curious about Jurga's source becoming 2 spells. He suspects the second spell is Eleanor herself, and she confirms it, but insists she's a bust. She says all of Jurga's hate got sucked into Ask, so her job has been creating clones just for fighting. After laying this all out, Eleanor asks Anos to destroy her. She's been waiting for someone like him to help them find happiness, and she's bummed about all the killing she's done. She thinks if they could talk, they'd hate her. But then a Zeshia clone calls out for Eleanor and begs Anos to save their mother. Laughing, Anos promises he'll save both Eleanor and all the Zeshia clones. Just then, Diego barges in with knights. Eleanor confirms Diego's just a clone who'll regenerate endlessly as long as she's around. Before Diego and his crew can make a move, 3 of the 7 demon elders, Medoin, Zoro, and Eldora show up with Avos Dilhevia. Avos swipes Evan's mana, shocking Diego, and Medoin creates a black hole that sucks up Diego and his knights. Avos and the demon emperors strut up to Anos, who demands to know who Avos is. Avos formally introduces himself, and when Anos asks about that fake name, he attacks Avos with Geo Grays and his demon eyes. But Avos just brushes it off and vanishes with the sword and his crew. Diego announces that the Evans mana sword has been stolen and warns that the Demon King is back. Just like history said darkness would return. He tells everyone not to fear, but to rally their strength and fight together. The demon students in Azeshan are shocked to hear their founding ancestor is back. Meanwhile, Medoin, Zoro, Eldora, and Avos declare war on the humans. Avos admits he made a mistake 2,000 years ago by splitting the earth into 4 realms, and this time, he wants to wipe out the humans for good. The clueless folks of Dilhade cheer for their fake king. Later, Anos gets the lowdown on the imminent war between humans and demons from Melhais, who's with Ivis, Yidal, and Gaios. Even though Anos initially says no to help, the 4 demon elders, Misha, Sasha, the Fan Union, and Lei all push to support him. Anos finally agrees, telling them they'll move out the next day. That afternoon, Lei finds Misha gazing worriedly out a window. She confesses she's scared about what might happen to everyone. Lei reassures her that he's not worried at all. This is nothing compared to the Great War that went down 2 years ago. He feels like he fought in that one, which is probably why he's not scared about the current situation. Lei comforts her and takes half of her necklace. Misha points out that this means he's proposing, and Lei just smiles, saying he knows, then promises he'll definitely come back. The next day, Anos tells everyone to chill out and not to die or kill over what he thinks is a petty war. He knows the Azeshan subjugation army is ready to strike back, but he's confident Dilhade will make the first move. So, he sends Misha and Sasha to confront Dilhade's forces in the west. They roll up and tell the guards that their demon, King, Anos, isn't interested in starting anything. Meanwhile, Lei and Misha hit the east, and the Fan Union is on rear guard duty. Lei jumps into action, taking down the guards coming his way, with Misha backing him up the whole time. But then, reinforcements show up, and things look dicey for Lei, so he tells Misha to hide and goes all out. Over at the enemy stronghold, Anos and the demon elders are charging in towards Avos and his squad. The guards are freaking out by Anos' sudden attack, but they're no match for him. Melhais tells Anos to head to Avos' castle while they deal with the other demon emperors. They handle those elders easy peasy, but the manipulated sources are Mia, and Avos is nowhere to be found. Misha also updates Anos that she can't track Lei after all the chaos. Eventually, Anos catches up with Avos out in a field and sets up a barrier to keep things low-key. He knew Avos would be there. Avos pops out his sword and charges, but Anos takes something off Avos's neck and says it's been 2,000 years since their last scrap, recognizing Avos as Kanan. Then he shows Kanan the shell necklace he took from him, revealing the truth. Avos pulls off his mask, and surprise, he's really Lei, the genuine reincarnation of Kanan. Lei asks Anos, who he thought was clueless, how he figured it out. Anos reveals it was when Lei called the necklace single shell, because only someone who knew the history of Azeshin would say that. Lei had been playing Anos into believing he was Shin's reincarnation. But Anos is confident Shin would never lie to him. Lei's motives come to light, especially how he turned his sources into demon emperors, except for Melhi's. Kanan tells Anos he's right about what he said 2 millennia ago, the humans are weak, and Kanan needed this deception to shield them. And way back when, Lei was killed by one of Jurga's followers. Knowing Jurga wanted to off Anos when he got his power back as Demon King, Lei tapped into Evan's mana to change that fate and began rewriting history, creating Avos Delhevia. Lei's plan was for Avos to be taken out by the humans. Cooling the rage Jurga stirred up, Lei goes on about how Anos created a beautiful, peaceful world because of how he took himself out back in the day. But Lei's got to show Anos what real human kindness looks like. He believes that as soon as the humans take down Avos Delhevia, Jurga's hatred and ass will just vanish. Anos reminds Lei that back then, separating the necklace meant wanting to be reincarnated and reunited with his love, which was basically saying goodbye to the person he cared about. Realizing he can't change Lei's mind, Anos challenges him to a fight. Holding Lei's cherished necklace as leverage, Lei vows to protect Anos, but Anos insists he won't let Lei put himself at risk to shield him. During the brawl, Anos pulls off Giagrias, wiping out Lei's first source. Then, with Beeves, he destroys another source. Lei thinks to himself how the heroes are just illusions, and that he never meant to take Anos out. Anos uses another spell, Rio Edrum, taking down the hero's third source. With Geo Grays, he finishes the fourth and fifth sources of the so-called hero, not giving Lei a moment to breathe. Anos sneaks up and uses his hand to obliterate Lei's sixth source from within him. But Lei, against the odds, won't give in. He draws another sword, and they start sparring so fast, it's like a blur. In the end, Lei manages to stab and break Anos' source. Confused, Lei wants to know why Anos would sacrifice himself this way. Anos says he's simply following Lei's plot, which has the Demon King being wiped out, pretending to be Avos. Anos tells his troops to fall back and wait for his revival. Sasha and Misha can't believe it when Anos reveals himself, infused with Lei's discharged Evan's mana. Lei realizes yet again that in his toughest moments, the one who saved him both back then and now is Anos, his one true hero. Quietly, Anos gives Lei back his necklace, while Lei draws Evan's mana from Anos's body, causing it to dust away. Lei then announces the demon lord is dead and tells everyone to retreat since the threat is gone. But Diego is livid, insisting Lei isn't the hero. He orders the Zeshias to self-destruct to wipe out the demons. Suddenly, Eleanor shows up and begs Diego to call off the order, but he's raving about exterminating all demons. As he yells, his energy drains, creating an magical circle in the sky that morphs into Jurga. Jurga isn't happy that Kanan's now the demon Lei who took down the Demon King. Kanan calls out Jurga for how he's turned into a being fueled by hatred against the demon clan. He vows to obliterate Jurga right then and there. But when he swings Evan's mana, Jurga isn't harmed and explains he's a scared magic that can't be touched by a sword. Jurga is about to cast his judgment spell when Misha and Sasha step in, telling him he has no right to judge them. Jurga asks if they belong to Anos, and they reply that they believe in him, which means he'll be back soon. Ivis pops up, telling the twins it's time to unleash their power. Sasha asks Misha if she's scared, but they decide they're not scared. Misha claims she's Sasha and Sasha claims she's Misha. Together, they enter a spell created by Ivis, shouting Dino Jixes, which merges them into one. They launch a counterattack against Jurga while trying to stop his self-destruct spell, with Lei and Misha doing their best too. Eleanor is on the verge of tears, fearing for her baby's lives, and everyone struggles to hang in there. Just when Jurga is about to make the Zeshias go boom, Anos reappears, much to Jurga's frustration. Anos mocks Jurga, calling him a loser for thinking he wouldn't come back just because his source was destroyed. He reveals he used the agronement spell, turning Jurga's own attack into the rebirth of his source. Because Lei killed Anos before using the same tactic, he can come back. Jurga, sensing an opportunity, thinks this is his chance to finally take Anos out himself and get his revenge. He sucks the hope out of his followers, transforming into a huge golden knight. He swings at Anos, but Lei blocks the attack. Anos tells Lei it's time to team up and squash over 2,000 years of hatred. Even though they're initially overpowered by Jurga's new form, Anos finds strength from his fan union's song. Activating his own Ask, Jurga scoffs, saying Anos is mocking magic because Ask channels the anger of humans. Eleanor tries to shield against Jurga's magic while urging demons to flee, but they refuse, saying they need to fight for their demon king, who sacrificed himself for them. The fan union keeps the tunes going, fueling Anos, while Misha, in their new form, builds a castle with Ivis. All the demons rally behind Anos, but Jurga sees their support as just proving their insolence even more. Jurga gets caught in Anos' lightning, and Anos tells him to recognize that the world has changed since the past. Lei reappears and cuts Jurga in half, shocking him since he thought Evan's mana couldn't hurt him. Anos brings Delskade into play, proclaiming that it wasn't the humans who hated Anos, it was Jurga himself. Anos unleashes Venusner while Lei stabs with Evan's mana, and together, they take Jurga down. Anos flings the single shell necklace at Jurga, leading him to recall his family. Misha and Sasha transform back to their originals, expressing their worry for Anos. Misha reunites with Lei. After the battle, Anos turns Eleanor's source into his own, so she can keep her powers around the Zeshias. Later, Anos, Misha, Sasha, and Eleanor swing by his place and get a warm welcome from Anos's parents, who are stunned by Eleanor's presence. They're blown away, thinking she's Anos' third wife with 10,000 kids. Anos' mom invites Misha and Sasha to dinner because she made a ton of mushroom gratin, just knowing Anos would ask for it.